I still don't know why leakers are going on about this, but we have more news regarding the camera bump on iPhone 17. Yes, that's what people are fighting over nowadays because every leak will get new conflicting rumors that go against what others have said before. So for those unaware, initially we were expecting a new horizontal layout similar to the Pixel, which would make this iPhone stand out compared to every other iPhone since the 11 Pro, which has had the same stove camera layout. However, there is a reason Apple stuck to this familiar design, and it's not because they're lazy, it's because the lenses are at equal distance from each other, which allows for seamless switching between the lenses, but also the positioning of the camera now helps the iPhone record spatial video for the Vision Pro, and so moving these lenses could break these key aspects of the camera experience, hence why other leakers have been suggesting the stove design is going to remain and Apple instead is going to incorporate a part aluminium, part glass back cover. And that's what we see in this new leak that's an alleged CAD render of the 17 Pro, though I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's very easy to fake these kind of rumors, so please take it with a massive grain of salt. Find the biggest grain of salt in your house because you need that when analyzing this rumor. But you can see this has the familiar triple lens layout, but the LiDAR flash and the mic has moved to the right side. And we have this aluminium panel at the top now. It's an interesting look and it does actually kind of remind me of some Xiaomi Poco phones, which is not the best comparison since those are much cheaper devices. And yeah, it does look a bit weird, I can't lie. But as per the norm for designs that leak, I think we have to see this design first in Apple's renders before we can properly judge this. The stove design originally was very weird, but then we got used to it. So yeah, I need to see Apple's renders and the actual real deal before I can give you guys my verdict. But for those who've wanted Apple to redesign the back of the iPhone, it seems we're finally getting that. What revolutionary changes? Okay, let's actually move on to a change that will make a difference, and that's thermal upgrades. So courtesy of Chinese site MyDrivers, apparently the complete iPhone 17 range is going to adopt a vapor chamber heatsink for better thermal performance. This is already popular in the Android space, and if you're wondering how it works, essentially these chambers spread heat evenly across a large surface area, and this prevents thermal throttling so the device can maintain its peak performance for longer. This is great news for the Genshin Impact warriors who game on their phones for many hours. But it's not just a benefit for those guys. If you take a lot of photos and videos, your phone can heat up, and so of course, better thermals will improve the camera experience as well. Since right now, if you are taking a ton of videos and photos, the screen usually dims to make up for it overheating. Now, of course, I do want to mention the iPhone 16 models did have thermal upgrades, which made a difference in my testing. I believe they had included a graphene sheet to dissipate heat, but a vapor chamber system is going to make an even bigger difference when you're pushing the device in extreme conditions, like heavy usage of the camera or gaming, as I'd mentioned, and ultimately I'll take any thermal upgrades. It's a change that everyone's going to notice. Considering this is coming to the iPhone 17 Air as well, this is a net positive because that device is going to be razor thin, and so Apple investing in the thermals will prevent that device from overheating, and when they're including it on the 17 Air, they might as well bring it to the rest of the iPhone range as well. You know what you might as well do though? Click that subscribe button, of course. It's free and it'll bring you the latest about Apple right to subscription box, so please consider it. It would be appreciated. Join the Surround Bite gang now. Now, some of you guys might be a little confused. I keep saying part glass, part aluminium design for the 17 Pro because you're probably thinking to yourself, wait up, the Pro phones have titanium, right? Well, apparently Apple's scrapping that and switching back to aluminium. And you may be thinking, why? Well, I think a big reason could be color choices. You see, right now the color choices on the Pro phones are very, very pale and bland and boring compared to the regular models, and it's partly because the titanium chassis on the Pro phones are very hard to color in bright shades, and so maybe Apple's moving to aluminium just so they can give us more fun, bright colors that stand out, especially since nowadays functionally phones are not very different. If Apple can give those Pro consumers bright shades of red, green, or blue for once, that could get people to upgrade. I think another side reason could simply be cost. Maybe titanium is just too expensive for Apple to continue using, and so they want to widen their profit margins and use aluminium instead. Yes, there will be a compromise with the durability of the device since titanium is a tougher material, but if it comes in fun colors, I don't think people will mind. Anyway, let's now move on to the iPhone 17 Air. Essentially, for those out of the loop, the plus size is dead, it's not been selling well, and it's funny because that was brought in as a replacement for the Mini that was also not selling well. And so what I've learned from this as a YouTuber analyst is that we don't really need a fourth iPhone in the range, but clearly Timothy thinks otherwise because he's back with a new fourth iPhone, and this time it's a razor thin model. So this is rumored to be called the iPhone 17 Air, which yes, does make sense based on what Apple's done in the past, but also do know Air recently does not necessarily mean the thinnest product anymore. For example, the iPad Air is actually thinner than the iPad Pro, so the name has kind of lost its meaning over the years. But for a product like this, the Air branding going back to its roots would be nice to see. And yeah, it's going to be crazy thing, guys. We're hearing this could be thinner than the iPhone 6. Yes, the bendy iPhone, and could apparently be 5 to 6 millimeters in thickness, which is pretty insane when you consider the current Pro phones are 8.25 millimeters in thickness. Here's a comparison photo, and yeah, you can see there's a massive difference. Now, of course, you might be worried about durability with such a thin device, but do remember the M4 iPad Pro is actually even thinner than the rumored iPhone 17 Air, and that had no bending issues as such. So forget about the iPhone 6, those days are over. Apple can do their engineering magic to prevent another Bengate situation. Now, because it's so thin, there will be some compromises with the specs. For example, expecting this to come with one single camera on the back instead of dual or triple cameras. Now, because it's so thin, there's going to be compromises with the specs. For example, this should only have one camera on the back instead of 2 or 3 cameras, and the single lens will be 48 megapixels, which I'm assuming will be similar to the iPhone 16 Pro's current main camera. To be honest, that's a non-issue. The ultra-wide is nice to have, but it's a softer lens than the main, and it's pretty niche since everyone's not going to use it on a regular basis. Plus, because you're getting a 48 megapixel single camera, you will get the option for a 2x telephoto crop, which makes up for the lack of a telephoto lens. The size of the 17 Air is expected to be right in between the regular and Pro Max size options at 6.6 inches, so in a way this should be similar to the iPhone 10 that was in between the 8 and the 8 Plus, and it will have the A19 chipset with 8 gigs of RAM, as well as a new 24 megapixel selfie camera, which does pique my interest because it's been a while since the front-facing camera has got any upgrades. Now, I know some might be a little confused by this product because its specs are closer to that of a regular iPhone, or actually worse in some ways, but it's going to have a design that's going to be superior to every other iPhone. And so who's actually appealing to? Well, since iPhones have matured and reached their peak when it comes to functionality, there may be consumers who are just interested in a phone that puts form over function and looks very cool. And so I'm guessing Apple's betting on that market being big enough for the 17 Air to be a success. Also, phones have become bulky as of late, and especially with the case, they are actually quite bulky, and so some may want a thinner and lighter design, just so it's more comfortable to use in the hand. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching. Leaker Sonny Dixon had previously shared dummy models of the iPhone SE4, and now we have another source sharing images of new dummy models that confirm a few more things about this upcoming iPhone. Let's delve in. So we have a video and pictures of these quite detailed models, and we can see first of all this confirms the SE4 is getting a